Hi everyone, Sandra here, and I thought I would just give you guys a little bit of an update as to what's been going on. And honestly, not a whole lot. It has been super cold, frigid temperatures. The last couple of days have been below zero, so not a lot of fun to do anything outside except snowmobiling. And there are a lot of people out there on their sleds. I hear them day and night and they're having a blast. And I don't have one of those, so I'm here in the house. But actually, we got a good amount of snow middle of the week, last Wednesday. We got about 9 inches of snow. And then right after that is when the cold temperatures started. And so, you know, it just hasn't been a lot of fun to be outside. But it's not that bad. And I feel like it's not that bad because it's not that windy. So I feel like if you're outside for a good amount of time and it's windy and it's below zero, that makes all the difference in the world. But I just got new warning on my phone from Sunday night. I think it said 9 p.m. till Monday night, 6 p.m., possibly 9 p.m. Another storm warning, and that's for more snow, up to 12 inches. And so I'm not looking forward to that at all because of the timing. A lot of it very well could be falling when I have to go to work Monday morning. Not thrilled about that at all. And in fact, the older I get, the more anxious I get about driving in bad weather. Oh geez, I don't know. It's not like I've ever really been in a bad accident, and I haven't been in any accidents in bad weather, but it just makes me nervous, and I'm hoping I'm not alone, that maybe a few of you feel that way too. But if it's too bad, then I just won't go to work. I'll have to call in or something, and luckily for me, I know the boss really well, wink wink, and hopefully it won't be a problem. And for those of you that don't know, my boss is my son. I work at one of my son's gyms, so hopefully he'll let me take off if need be. But I shouldn't have to, because even though the weather might be really bad, I do take major roads, major thoroughfares, and at least here in southern Wisconsin, they're really good about plowing. I mean, they start salting really early, and then the plows really step up, and we all love our plow guys because they really do a fantastic job, and it keeps us on the move. So we'll see. We'll see what ends up happening and how much snow we end up getting, and hopefully the weathermen are wrong. However, up by the cabin, they're getting the same warning. It's a little bit earlier because the cabin is northwest of here, and a lot of times whatever weather they get, it comes down here. After the storm, they are getting super frigid weather, and oh my word, it so reminds me of last year with me and Paul at the cabin. It was so unbelievably cold, but a lot of times up at the cabin we would be easily 10-15 degrees colder than our family down here in southern Wisconsin. So I don't know, but they're getting super frigid. So their wind chills are looking to be between 45 and 55 below zero. Now I'm not sure how long that lasts, but that is just super insane cold to me. I mean, yeah, I've been through a lot of cold weather, but I mean, geez Louise, that's really something. So I hope that frigid cold doesn't move down after the snow. Hopefully it won't. But I have been staying busy. I've been doing a little bit of canning, and I like to can in the winter stuff that you get on sale or like dried goods. So for instance, I just canned up a bunch of potatoes. They had potatoes on sale at the local grocery, so I bought a bunch of those and I canned up some potatoes. And then either tonight or tomorrow, most likely tomorrow, I will be canning up some beans because you know, dried beans are always pretty inexpensive, and it's, you know, pretty easy too to can those up, and they're so nice to have on hand to add to all of your recipes and stuff. I like even throwing those in salads. I mean, I'll just add them to almost anything. It depends on the type of bean, but you can can almost any kind of bean. So if you've never done it before, you should try it. I do have an old video on canning black beans. I'll put the link down in the description box. But yeah, go ahead and can up some beans. So stuff like that. It's also a good time to dehydrate if you have sales at the store as well, because your dehydrator actually puts off some heat. So it'll help heat up your kitchen a little bit if you're in a chilly spot too. But it's good to keep yourself busy even, you know, when you're stuck indoors. I wanted to go to the cabin, but with all the snow and then the frigid temperatures, I haven't been able to. Although my son, one of my other sons, did go up there for me and just check everything out, and brought me back some stuff that I was looking to have, and so I'm pretty happy about that. That you know, everything's still hunky-dory up there, and no problems or anything. But I really would like to get up there. I just, you know, last year Paul and I drove back and forth from the cabin down here by family, and you know, he was fine with that, but I was so nervous almost every time we were driving, and it wasn't because of him, it was just the weather and the crazy other drivers, you know, like I'm sure every state has their particular cities and areas where they deem those drivers extra nutsy, right? And or just huge chance takers or whatever. So yeah, there's a couple areas like that between the cabin and here. And so you're talking people that like to switch lanes really quickly and often, no blinkers, and just, you know, tailgaters, all kinds of stuff like that. Every bad habit you can think of that people do when they're driving, you know, and especially the lack of realizing people need to slow down when the weather isn't good. I mean, I don't know, I feel like there's some people out there that just think they drive tanks or something, and yeah, a lot of times those are the people in the ditch. But I just don't want to make the drive, basically, you know. It is what it is. I want to get back up there and I want to do stuff, but sometimes you just need to hurry up and wait. You know what I mean? I'm sure you've had a situation or two like that where it's like, come on, let's get going, let's get going, let's get going, but you can't, you gotta wait. So anyhow, that's what's going on with the cabin so far, or so far this winter. Oh, and jumping back to food storage again, just for a minute here, because I was thinking I'm going to be making myself some really, really good ham and potato soup. And it's been really hard for me to make small amounts of food. I'm so used to cooking for a lot of people. I mean, we had a lot of kids. Paul was a big eater. We were both really good with eating leftovers. But I'm not a big eater to start with. And so even, you know, what some people would consider 2 servings would really serve me 4 times. So I came up with an idea for a bunch of stuff. Well, I suppose I didn't come up with it. It's been done before a million times, I'm sure. But I'm just going to start freezing a lot of this stuff. Like the potato soup I'm going to be making. All my leftovers, I'm just going to, they make those containers now where you can, they're safe to freeze, and all of that. So I'm going to start stacking those up. And I could take some of those to work if I want, or just, you know, have them here at home for a quick dinner, some kind of meal. And there really is a lot of stuff that you can freeze. I remember I used to freeze rice, and some people said, why would you freeze rice? Well, because I tend to overdo stuff sometimes, especially when I was cooking for my big family. And what looked like the normal amount of rice that I should have, I almost always overdid it, and I'd have all this leftovers. And so, yeah, you could just put it in a Tupperware or whatever, throw it in the freezer, and then you have it for another time. So I'm going to be looking up a few of my favorite meals and dishes and just making sure ahead of time. But my brother is actually my youngest baby brother. It's hard to say that. I mean, he's not a baby, obviously, anymore. He's 40 years old now, family of his own. And he does a lot of the cooking at his house. And he would tell me when the kids were real little, he worked second shifts. So he was home with them, you know, the morning, noontime, that kind of stuff. So he would do a lot of cooking for them, especially at lunchtime. And he would always freeze his soups because he said they made perfect sizes for, you know, 2 little mouths. At the time, that's what he had. He had 2 little girls. And so, yeah, it worked out great for him. And I'm like, yeah, you know, my mom used to freeze soup, and so I'm going to do that. But, so I'm just, you know, making up a list of all these different things I want to do. And sometimes we need the downtime. Winter can be rejuvenating. It gives you the rest you need before the hectic, crazy schedule of spring and summer come around. And I'm liking it. I mean, I don't mind winter. I don't like a lot of snow, and I never really have. The cold does not bother me for the most part. You just got to dress appropriately for it. But I like looking outside and seeing everything asleep. A lot of people consider, you know, all the wild plants and trees and everything to be dead, but they're not dead. They're dormant. They're hunkered down for the winter. They're protecting themselves against the harshness of the elements. And so come spring is when they'll wake up, and it'll be a great time then. But yeah, winter's a time for rest, settle down. As family, it's been great. The kids have been around a lot, and we've been playing board games and just hanging out, so that's all wonderful and good. And yeah, right now things are quiet, but they're going okay. Let me know down in comments what you guys do over the winter and how you pass the time, and the different projects you do, chores, stuff like that. It'd be interesting to see what people do. Besides me, we can look around the country or the world what people do during this time of the year. But anyhow, it's nice talking to you guys. And remember, you take care.